Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Transformers review. And as you can see, I'm doing two figures, although the same mould, and these are Galvatron and Megatron from the Legends class sort of series, modelled on the Cybertron line of toys, and they're from 2006. Now, I'm doing both together because I find it a little bit odd that with the colour schemes that they are the figures they are. I'll try and explain it a little bit clearer. In this line of toys, this is Galvatron and this is Megatron. Now, when I initially got these from boot fairs and that, I think it was Waspshot23 who pointed out that where I referred to this one as Megatron and this one as Galvatron, he said they were the other way round, and when I researched it, I mean, he is correct in that, but I find it very peculiar. Obviously Megatron becomes Galvatron in the G1 series and everything like that, and obviously they followed on by repeating that sort of process, I imagine, in the other lines. But I find it very peculiar that in the Cybertron line that they had this colour scheme, which is pretty much the G1 Megatron colour scheme with a sort of silvery grey, black and red as Galvatron. It is a little bit odd that, like I say, he is Galvatron when you've got a dark grey, purple and orange version of the same mould, with a little bit of turquoise as well picked out on it, but basically the same figure but in Galvatron's colours, yet this one's Megatron. So it is a little bit odd to me, but I don't know if that's somebody's cock up at Hasbro back in when they were actually making these figures and designing it and then releasing the cartoon, and then they had to just go with it, or if it was intentional. So it is a little bit strange. Both of these figures are, as I say, exactly the same mould but recoloured. The better one is this one out of the two, because I just think he's got more colour applications and it just picks out the detail in that little bit better. As I say, he's got some metallic sort of turquoise on the wheel and on the side, like the cockpit area, and I just think the purple and the dark grey kind of works better than the light sort of silvery grey and the black. It just makes this one look a little bit cheaper, even though the quality is exactly the same of the actual plastic and the moulds, but it's just like, even like on the sides where you get the wheels and that, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems a cheaper version of the same toy. I'll transform one with a bit more of an explanation to start with. I'll do the Megatron one, but I will transform them both so you can see what they look like in robot mode as well. I'll give you a close-up look of the Megatron version. As I say, I think the orange, the purple and the dark grey do work that bit better, and of course where they picked out the bits with the turquoise metallic colour just gives that a little bit more of a finish. Both have got sort of nice little Decepticon logos on the top, and a fair amount of nice detailing on the engine parts and round on even like the wheels, well, dummy wheels in the case of the rear wheels, because you've just got a small little plastic wheel at the back. But yeah, pretty basic little figures, being that they're sort of Legends class. To transform them's pretty simple. You unpeg the rear sections of the car and just sort of let that swing back and round like so, and that gives you obviously his abdomen and sort of groin area. You swing the rear sections round because it's all on ball joints, which is quite nicely articulated in that way. These back sort of like car fins sort of just turn to become his feet, which is quite a neat little transformation as well. Now with the front, it's a little bit more complicated, but not too bad. You unpeg the two sides and as it's done it itself, you split the middle section as well, so you end up with 4 sections. You then need to spin these side sections either way. They do catch slightly if you go that way, but they will go, and they just swing round to the back of the robot. And then, as you can see, he's got his head in there, but that needs to swing right round and back, as it won't go that way. So you bring this, what is the nose cone of the car, apart like so, and then you need to bring the head right round so it clears inside, and then as you bring down the the cockpit of the sort of like futuristic car down, the head will then come up the back like so. And then with the arms, it's just a simple case of turning the nose cone round to form the forearm, which then brings out the little fists. And again, these are all on like a little ball joint, so you can bring them round to the front like so. And he's not a bad little robot, a little bit loose, and it would be better if this sort of snapped into place a bit better, but unfortunately they didn't design a little catch for this guy. But he's a pretty good representation of the Cybertron Megatron. Quite a nice little face detail. Not the best head mould, but pretty good and nicely detailed face. I think they've even managed to pick out a little bit of his eyes there in the same turquoise colour. So yeah, not a bad little figure. Now I'll do the same transformation on the Galvatron version. Exactly the same. So it's just unpegging it, flip the back round, turn the back sections to become his feet, and just quickly spin all this round to the back. Just doing this really quick. Oh, there's another little telltale thing. With this one again, we're saying build quality. The pin is loose on this one. It will go back, but it's obviously just that little bit looser than on the Megatron version. And as I said, sort of like, you know, it does make you wonder if the plastic quality maybe isn't just quite as good. Maybe they didn't put as much forethought into the Galvatron version of him. And there we go. And that is the Galvatron version. Now I'll bring them in, both in. They're not the most brilliant for being able to stand up straight, and they do suffer a little bit with sort of weak ball joints. That's it. And sort of just try and line those up so you can see them. Obviously colour differences stand out again in this mode. You've got obviously a lot more black and grey on the Galvatron figure, and they picked his face out in a light, almost lilac-y purple colour, which again doesn't look quite as good as the silver on the Megatron version. But not bad little bots in their own sort of right. But if you was going to pick up these figures, I would go for the Megatron version, this one here. As you saw, the Galvatron one just isn't quite as good, and where that pin on his arm has sort of come out, and that just shows maybe there's just not quite the same quality control on that mould. Anyway, I thought you'd like to see just an odd little review on a couple of little oddities. Hope you've enjoyed that review, and I shall see you again for another Transformers review. Thanks for watching.